Whoever is not well mannered in his relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will patch him up, will deal with him under the earth. 3 characteristics that makes an individual humble. Something that we should all aspire to do. Point number 1. Accepting the truth from those who are younger than us. Remember in the previous episode when the Messenger defined arrogance, what did he say? بَطَرُ الْحَقِّ وَغَمْطُ النَّاسِ. To reject the truth and to also belittle others. The great Imam, the Tabi'i, Fudayl ibn Iyad, who met the companions, he was asked about التواضع, being humble. He said, أن تخضع للحق وتنقاد له. It is to lower yourself to the truth and to submit to it. And look what he said. ولو سمعته من أجهل الناس قبلته منه. Even if you was to hear it from the most ignorant of people, you accept it. And he said, ولو سمعته من صبي قبلته منه. Even if you was to now hear it from a young child, an infant, you accept it. How many times have I heard my brothers and my sisters, parents saying, you want to teach me how to do wudu? When I used to clean your backside? I've heard with these very 2 ears, when somebody was advised, you want to tell me about the sunnah, and I knew what the sunnah was before you knew what the sandwich was. Heard it with these very 2 ears. وهذا نوع من التكبر. But rather an individual, my brothers and my sisters, he lowers his wings. Look at Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. We know Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, as Hafid al-Iraqi mentioned, وَالْمُكْثِرُونَ فِي رِوَايَةِ الْأَثَرِ أَبُو هُرَيْرَةِ ibn Umari. The one who narrated the most hadith was Abu Hurairah. One time, an individual called Abdurrahman ibn al-Harith came up to him. Abdurrahman ibn al-Harith doesn't ring a bell, my brothers and my sisters, but Abu Hurairah does. He came to advise Abu Hurairah. And he said to him, this fatwa that you are giving, what fatwa is he speaking about? Abu Hurairah used to tell the people, if Fajr kicks in, the adhan goes off, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. If you are in the state of janaba, maybe because of sexual intercourse or a wet dream, then you cannot fast that day. He came to advise him. And he said that he heard the 2 wives, Aisha and also Salama, mention the opposite of his fatwa. Abu Hurairah asked him, أَهُمَا قَالَتَاهُ لَكَ? Did they say that to you? He said, yes. He said, هُمَا أَعْلَمُ مِنِّي. They are more knowledgeable than me. He didn't turn around and say, I've been in Medina for 6 years, or I spent 4 or 5 years in Yemen or in Egypt. Who are you to come tell me I've memorized X amount of a hadith? He humbled himself. The second characteristic, my brothers and my sisters, is to accept the truth even from those who you might despise, that you don't like. Ibn al-Qayyim, he mentioned, لا تصلح لك درجة التواضع حتى تقبل الحق ممن تحب وممن تبغض. You will not reach that level of being humble. We mentioned the virtue, you will rise until you learn to take the truth from those that you love and those that you hate, that you don't like. Number 3, accepting the apology of others. When they apologize, somebody wronged you, he has now come to apologize. What is your reaction going to be? Look what Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, من أساء إليك ثم جاء يعتذر من إساءته. Whoever wronged you and then he came to apologize, فإن التواضع يوجب عليك قبول معذرته حقا كانت أو باطلا وتكل سريرته إلى الله. If this individual now has come to you and he's apologizing, part of being humble entails that you accept it from him, regardless of whether he is being sincere or not, and you leave his intentions to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't turn around and say, you're not being sincere. Question that I posed to you is, did you open up his heart? أشققت قلبه? As to whether he was being sincere or not. This is not for you to judge. You can only judge that which is the apparent. And you can only know that if he utters it or he writes it down. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Say wallahi, you're not going to tell anybody. We hear this all the time. Say wallahi, you're not going to tell anybody.